Hello friends, this is Dr. Ritvi. Welcome to Homoeopathy the Healing Power. Friends, today we are going to study yet another important proving made by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann sir in the field of homeopathy. The medicine which we are going to study today is Lycopodium clavatum. Friends, Lycopodium is one of the most important polycrest remedy of our homeopathic Medica. This remedy is suited to almost all types of acute and chronic cases, especially to those chronic, deep-seated and progressive cases. So this remedy comes handy to practitioner in most of the chronic and acute cases. So friends, in this video we are going to see Lycopodium in detail. We are going to see the action of Lycopodium on various parts of the body and what are the signs and symptoms this remedy produces on the body. As well as we will see the origin of symptom and the most important keynote symptom, which are the most unique and peculiar symptom of Lycopodium that help us to differentiate Lycopodium with rest of the other comparative medicines. Again, also we will see the most important and frequently indicated clinical cases where this remedy works well. By the end of this video, we will also see a typical mind of Lycopodium patient. So friends, if you are new to our channel and if you have not subscribed our channel till now, then subscribe the channel, press the bell icon and select option all so that you will be get notified whenever a brand new video is uploaded from Homoeopathy the Healing Power. Watch this video till the end to understand the Lycopodium in detail. As well as like this video and share this video among homeopathic students and practitioners. So let's get started. Lycopodium clavatum. Lycopodium is proved by Dr. Samuel Hahnemann sir. This remedy belongs to plant kingdom. The common name of this remedy is wolf's claw and club moss. This remedy belongs to the family Lycopodiaceae. Lycopodium is derived from the word leucos. Leucos means wolf and pes means foot. The shoots of this plant have wolf's foot-like appearance. It is one of the perennial plant which grows almost everywhere, but especially it is seen in the northern countries. Friends, Lycopodium is one of the most important remedies for chronic cases, especially for chronic and deep-seated cases. When these chronic cases are related to liver or related to any urinary complaints. So if your patient has any type of liver diseases or any kind of urinary complaints or urinary diseases, we must think of Lycopodium. If the symptom matches, the Lycopodium works great. And that is why it is seen that Lycopodium acts well on the mucous membrane of respiratory tract, on the digestive tract, on the digestive system, and also on the mucous membrane of genitourinary tract and kidneys as well. As well as it shows the most specific action on liver and on digestive system. By acting on the various parts of the body and especially on the vital parts of the body, Lycopodium here produces a slow and progressive weakness with decaying of tissues. This is the prime action of Lycopodium. As well as when it acts on the genitourinary system and on the kidneys, it produces lithic and uric acid diathesis. So that is why Lycopodium patient have indisposed diathesis of lithic acid and of uric acid. As well as when it acts on liver and on digestive system, here it produces disturbances in digestion as well as produces constipation and liver congestion. Again, this is most important action of Lycopodium. By acting on the lymphatic system, it is seen that Lycopodium produces weakness of lymphatic glands. As well as it produces swollen and indurated lymph glands, which are specially seen in the neck region. So here the constitutional makeup of Lycopodium patient is very important. Again, it is very unique from other patient and most important for our final prescription. Here the Lycopodium patient, when we will see, will be always anemic and the patient will have unhealthy complexion. Especially we can see they may have pale complexion because of anemia. They look older than their age. That is old looking young person. Actually, Lycopodium is suited to all age group, especially in the extremes of life. That is, it is very suitable for children and for old people. But this remedy also acts well for adults. This remedy Lycopodium has carbonatrogenide constitution given by Graviogold. This patient are physically very weak and feeble, but intellectually they are very keen and intelligent. So you will see that the physical appearance and the physical capacity of this patient is very weak and poor, unable to handle themselves. But intellectually they are very keen and intelligent. So because of their lack of physical power, they cannot handle or they cannot upbring their intelligence to the outer environment. Also we'll see that this patient has fan-like motion of alae nasi. Lycopodium covers lithic acid and uric acid diathesis. So again, this patient may have an history of any hepatic diseases, any liver diseases or any genitourinary diseases in their background. This remedy covers all types of miasms, soda, psychosis and syphilis, because it is one of the polycrest remedy, so it covers all types of miasms. The upper part of the body of this patient is emaciated and weak, and the lower part of the body you will see any type of edema or swelling, especially seen in ankles or in the feet. So friends, this was the constitution makeup of Lycopodium. Now one by one, let's see the important keynote symptoms of Lycopodium. Starting first with its typical aggravation. The Lycopodium patient has a typical time modality for their aggravation. That is, this patient always aggravates all its complaint at 4 to 8 p.m. So in the morning hours, the patient feels good, okay, till the afternoon. The patient is almost better. But from 4 p.m. till 8 o'clock, there is an acute aggravation of all the troubles. Whatever may be the trouble with the patient, from 4 to 8 p.m. there is an aggravation of this trouble. And after 8 p.m. the symptoms gets subside. This is the most marked and prominent feature of Lycopodium, having a typical time modality. The next important keynote symptom of Lycopodium is this patient always have distension of abdomen. They always feel bloated. They always have an excessive accumulation of flatulence in the abdomen. So the fermentation in the abdomen is constantly seen. Whatever may be the symptom or whatever may be the reason, the abdomen is again accumulated with gases, with fullness and with bloating feeling all the time. The next important keynote symptom of Lycopodium is the Lycopodium patient have a typical flow of the symptoms. That means the symptoms begin from the right side of the body and then they go to the left side of the body. Again, this is a unique and characteristic symptom of Lycopodium. Here the symptom that may be anything, may be a sore throat or cold coryza or toothache or any complaints related to abdomen or liver. Here the symptoms starts from the right side of the body, then they go towards the left side of the body, and this is noticeable to the patient and to the practitioner. Again, the next important keynote symptom of Lycopodium is that the patient gets ameliorated by warm drinks. In most of the cases, the patient desires for warm drinks. That may be hot tea or coffee. In fact, the patient enjoys the hot cooked food. So as soon as the food is cooked, the hot and the warm food it easily taken by the patient. As well as the most important keynote symptom of Lycopodium is seen, that is, there is a desire for sweet things. That is, the patient has a great desire for sweets. Again, you will find this symptom most prominent in Lycopodium patient, most important for your prescription. All the discharges of Lycopodium patient are sour in nature. The Lycopodium patient has sourness of all the discharges. That may be a sour taste even present in the mouth. Example, the patient may have vomiting, sour in nature, or a water brush or eructations, sour in nature. Again, this is the characteristic symptom of Lycopodium. Symptoms in Lycopodium are originated because of fright, because of excessive anger, and because of mortification or vexation, that is irritability with reserved displeasure. Friends, one by one, let's see the most important clinical condition where the Lycopodium is prescribed. Starting first with the dyspepsia of Lycopodium, because dyspepsia or indigestion or upset stomach is one of the prime symptom of Lycopodium patient. As we have seen earlier that Lycopodium acts on liver, so that is why a disturbed digestion is most prominently seen in Lycopodium patient. The function of liver gets disturbed, as well as there is also disturbance in the peristaltic movement of gastrointestinal system. This produces indigestion in Lycopodium patient. Here the patient suffers from hyperacidity, which results in symptoms like sour eructation, heartburn, sour taste in mouth, soreness of teeth, and water brush. Because of this disturbed digestion, the patient always complains of flatulence, because distension of abdomen and great flatulence are always seen in Lycopodium patient, and the patient will also always complain for these two symptoms. There is a distension seen especially in the lower abdomen. Rumbling and gurgling sounds in the lower abdomen are markedly seen. The abdomen is always distended like a drum. This heavy distension of abdomen sometimes produces dyspnea in patient. Whatever the patient eats converts into the gas. This is the marked symptom of Lycopodium patient. There is an appetite. The patient tries to eat, but few mouthfuls of food produces distension in the abdomen. The stomach gets bloated and everything turns into the gas. Nothing produces a relief in patient, belching or eructation, but only a slight relief is felt by the patient by passing the flatus. This disturbed digestion later produces constipation in Lycopodium patient. Lycopodium is also one of the most important remedy for constipation. Here the patient suffers from ineffectual desire to stool. That is, there is no desire to pass the stool. Here the patient also suffers from constricted feeling felt in the rectal area. Because of this ineffectual desire and because of heavy straining, later patient suffers from hemorrhoids. The most prominent symptom of Lycopodium constipation is that the patient suffers from pain after passing the stool. There is a severe pain felt by the patient after the passing stool, and this pain is so severe that sometimes it may even arrest the breathing of patient. Here the patient suffers from cutting, tearing and stitching type of the pain after passing the stool. This is one of the PQRS symptom of Lycopodium in constipation. Lycopodium also works great for respiratory diseases. It is also indicated for cold coryza. Here there is a lateral inflammation seen in the nasal mucous membrane. Violent coryza with acrid discharge from the nose is seen, as well as here the redness of eyes and lacrimation is also noticed. Along with that, The patient suffers from great dryness of nose and stoppage of nose, especially seen at night during sleep. That is why the patient gets up during the sleep because of choking with great soreness felt in the nasal area. Here, fan-like motion of alae nasi is also seen. When this cold travels downwards towards the lungs, it produces pneumonia. So Lycopodium is also a great remedy for pneumonia, where especially the right side is seen more affected than the left side. And also the symptoms here gets aggravated at 4 to 8 pm. Generally, Lycopodium is indicated when there is a stage of hepatization seen in pneumonia. Here the patient suffers from cough and diaphragmatic breathing. With the cough, the patient passes thick yellow purulent mucoid discharge with no relief. Sometimes this discharge is also greenish yellow in color. The patient face is cyanosed, unhealthy complexion, cold face with pulse which are seen very high, and along with that there is a rapid motion of nostrils, that is fan-like motion of alae nasi. Here the symptoms get worse from 4 to 8 pm. Lycopodium is also one of the most important remedy for impotency seen in males, as well as it is also one of the most important remedy for dryness of vagina seen in females. Friends, as we have seen that Lycopodium acts well on kidneys, and here it produces lithic acid and uric acid diathesis. So the kidney symptoms, or we can say the urinary symptoms of Lycopodium patient, are again very prominent and most important for final selection of remedy. Here the patient suffers from renal colic, from cystitis, and from all types of urinary diseases. During chronic cystitis, the patient passes turbid, milky, and purulent offensive urine. There is a great urging to urinate. The urging is very great, but as soon as the patient goes and passes the urine, here the patient has to wait for a longer period of time to pass the urine. Before passing the urine, the patient suffers from lower backache, and this backache reduces, or the backache stops after passing the urine. Because of great straining, here the patient finds impossible to pass the urine. Before passing the urine, there are lots of bearing down pain felt by the patient. Because of this typical diathesis, here the patient suffers or tends to suffer from renal calculi. So Lycopodium is also one of the most important remedy for renal stones. Here, when the patient passes the urine contains deposits of red sand. Again, this is the PQRS symptom of Lycopodium in urinary symptoms. The patient also suffers from retention of urine and also suffers from polyuria, especially seen at night. When children are seen suffering from this urinary symptoms, it is seen that the child cries, screams before passing the urine. This is also one of the PQRS symptom of Lycopodium. Friends, let's see the typical mind symptom of Lycopodium patient. The Lycopodium patient is very melancholic and weeps all the time. The patient even cries when the patient is being thanked. This is most important symptom of Lycopodium. The patient has a great fear to be alone. So the patient is afraid to be alone. Little things annoys the patient. So here the patient is very sensitive. The most important keynote symptom of Lycopodium patient is that there is a lack of self-confidence. Again, this is seen from head to toe in Lycopodium patient. As we have seen that the Lycopodium patient are very intellect and intelligent, but physically they are very weak and very feeble. So due to lack of physical capacity, they cannot express their high intellectual power in the outer world. So sometimes they suffer from lack of self-confidence. The patient also becomes haughty and headstrong when they fall sick. Because of this lack of self-confidence, the patient suffers from fear of breaking down during the stress. Here it is also seen that the patient has a fear that he will break down during a stress, during heavy stress or heavy overthinking. Here the patient is also very apprehensive. That means the patient suffers from severe anxiety, fear and anticipation that something bad or wrong will happen with the patient. The patient has very weak memory. Confusion of thoughts are seen, and that is why the patient spells and writes wrong words, wrong syllables. So this remedy is also very helpful for improving the brain power. Great sadness is felt by the patient typically in the morning as soon as the patient wakes up. Again, this is the PQRS symptom of Lycopodium. The patient gets very hurried while eating. It is also seen that the patient suffers from great fear of appearing in a public places. Even though the patient is very skilled, even though the patient is very intellect and intelligent, but there is a great fear of appearing before public because the patient feels that he may commit any mistake or he may get failed in front of people. And because of poor physical health also, and because of lack of confidence also, the patient has a fear to appear before public. It is also seen that the Lycopodium patient are very dominating in nature, as well as they are very arrogant, demanding and daring. Lycopodium patients are also very avarice and miser in nature. That is, they are very greedy. The patient gets easily angry, and so they cannot handle any opposition or contradiction. All the symptoms in Lycopodium gets worse from right side, from right to left side, from above downwards, from 4 to 8 pm, and from heat or warm room, and also from warm application. Except in throat and stomach cases, warm application and warm drinks ameliorates the complaints. And all the complaints are better from motion, after midnight, from warm food and warm drinks, from getting cold, and from being uncovered. Friends, Lycopodium works great after calcarea, sulfur, iodine, graphatis, lachesis, and chelidonium is prescribed. Lycopodium antidotes, camphor, pulsatilla, and causticum. This remedy can be prescribed from lower to the higher potencies, as well as higher potencies can do well as a constitutional remedy. So friends, this is all about Lycopodium. Please leave your valuable feedback and any suggestion in the comments section given below. Like this video, share this video, and subscribe the channel to meet again. Thank you for watching.